Welcome back. Today is the final day of Cassie Ventura on the stand. The cross-examination, Diddy's defense lawyers are finishing up their questions. Anna Estevio will continue on with her cross-examination. But before we get started, I'd like to issue a trigger warning. Viewer discretion is advised. There are some sensitive topics being discussed in today's video that maybe is not appropriate for children, as well as some adults who have gone through similar experiences. So just a heads up. So just a quick recap as to where they left off yesterday. In the sessions, Anna Estevio had been digging in deeper into the text messages right before the incident at the Intercontinental Hotel that happened in March of 2016. Now, this is when Diddy attacked Cassie as she tried to leave during a freak-off intimate session. Anna Estevio asks about Sean Diddy Combs' mind-altering substance use at the time, and Cassie says she believes he was intoxicated while at the hotel. The court is then shown a text Cassie sent to Combs on March 10, 2016, in which she says, "When you get effed up the wrong way, you always want to show me you have the power to knock me around. I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child." The pair exchanged several texts over days, including one sent by Combs proclaiming how horny he was for Ventura. Combs texted Cassie on March 9, 2016, to which Cassie responded, "You are? Why? What made you feel that way?" Cassie said she felt the text was a little strange to receive just days after the attack. The defense then moves on to an incident in which Combs is said to have believed Cassie was cheating on him in August of 2018. And Cassie answers, the relationship was over by then. When asked how Combs learned of the relationship, Cassie says she's not sure and says, "We were not in a great place. I was dating someone else. I'm not sure how he found out. He grabbed my phone and ran out of the car." Cassie says Combs then ran off with her phone and was gone for a couple of hours. Later, speaking with the man she was dating, who is described as a professional NFL player. Diddy's lawyer uses the word cheating in her description of the relationship, which Cassie says is incorrect, as it was a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship between her and her new partner. Cassie is then asked about a time she was dancing with Chris Brown, answering, "I don't remember it," adding she wasn't dancing with the singer. At this point, the prosecution objects, and the line of questioning moves on, with Cassie confirming there were other occasions when Combs took her phone, her car, her watch, when he was angry with her. Estevio asks about Cassie learning of a recording of her out in the public and her concern it might have been a freak-off. Estevio says one of Combs' security staff was with her in Sedona, Arizona at the time, which was a trip to take a break from drugs and partying. Cassie agrees Combs was encouraging her to get to the bottom of it. A conversation is then played to the court of Cassie appearing to threaten a man she believes may have the video. Cassie asks him if he has it on his phone and then threatens him when he doesn't show her. She's heard saying, "Where is it? You're telling me nothing right now. You have it or you don't have it. I want to effing see that. It's my effing life and I will unalive you. If you have it, pull it up or I will unalive you and he will unalive you again. I'm tired of you talking shite." She goes on to accuse the man of playing games, adding, "I will unalive you. I have never unalived someone in my life, but you are effing with me and my life now. I want to show you the video. You're playing games because you said you saw the video. I will F you up and it won't be by my hand." Estevio goes on to say Combs spent time and money to make the problem of the recording go away. Cassie says she doesn't know the details. Cassie messaged Sean Diddy Combs about what the man told her, and Combs told her not to let him out of your sight. This seemed to be an attempt by the defense to show Combs didn't want the freak-off videos to get out either, contradicting Cassie's claims he threatened to release the videos on multiple occasions. Interesting little fun fact is that Cassie Ventura testified that she underwent mental health treatment at the Willow House facility for 45 days in 2023 and underwent the same therapy that Prince Harry did. Cassie told jurors that while at the facility, she underwent eye movement desensitization and reprocessing treatment, which she says is part of trauma therapy. My understanding is it helps me recount memories and process them. An escort service used by Sean Diddy Combs for his parties, Cowboys for Angels, is discussed, and the fact it appeared in a TV show called Gigolos. Cassie agrees she had been concerned that escorts involved in the Showtime program had also been invited to freak-offs and that there was the risk of details of the parties becoming more widely known. When asked about one escort who was featured and if they had been invited to a freak-off, Cassie says, "I've never seen the show, so I don't know." Now, given the fact that Cassie has confirmed that they procured escorts from Cowboys for Angels, there's a high possibility that the escort that was identified earlier on in this week in Cassie's testimony, Ash, is the same Ash that was a part of Cowboys for Angels and was on the show Gigolos and had murdered his friend. Apparently, he was high on mushrooms and had a bad trip and ended up killing this woman who he was having intimate relations with. Mind you, these are the same psychedelics that Harry claims are the windshield wipers for his eyes. The court returns continue on to the text messages between Cassie and Combs, which have previously been mentioned the day before during the cross-examination. In the April 2010 exchange, Cassie tells Diddy, "I want to talk to you about something tomorrow. Going to sleep. Love you." She confirms to his lawyer, Estavio, she was going to tell him she no longer wanted to be part of the freak-offs and was concerned he'd react badly. She moves on to a text in which she suggested a freak-off with a girl, to which Combs answered, "What makes you want to do that?" The court hears that Combs was dating another woman called Gina during at least half of Cassie's relationship with him. Cassie accused Combs of lying to her about his relationship with a mystery woman identified as Gina after finding a photo of him with her. Cassie wrote, "I just don't trust anymore. That last shot put the nail in the coffin." The messages show that Combs tried to avert the breakup, with Diddy saying, "Can I not get a chance to make things right? It seems like you're blaming everything on me. I haven't taken care of you?" Cassie replied, "You took care of me materialistically, not where I needed it. I needed you to love me and put me first." In Cassie's lawsuit, she alleges that Sean Diddy Combs raped her in 2018 after they had split up. She says she was dating her future husband, Alex Fine, by this time. Describing the allegation, Cassie agrees that Combs had been attempting to convince her to go to Burning Man Festival in Nevada and had taken her out for dinner at an Italian restaurant in Malibu in August of 2018. She says it was after this meal Combs took her home and raped her. Cassie says Combs was acting strangely at dinner. She says she can't remember if he seemed anxious or not. She is asked by Estavio if she believes that it was related to his bipolar disorder, and Cassie answered, yes. A text emoji sent by Cassie to Combs the following day shows her using a heart emoji. Estavio asks if it's correct she went on to see Combs again because you were together for so many years because you just can't turn your feelings off and you still had feelings for him at that point. Cassie agrees. There's discussion over dates as the lawsuit Cassie filed says the rape happened in September, but she told prosecutors in April that the rape happened in August. It was in August, around the time of the meal, Combs sent a text message saying, "I know I look bad to you. I could tell you I didn't turn you on yesterday. I fell off." Cassie confirmed she went on to see Combs on September 27, 2018, and that they had intimate relations that night. She says her now husband, personal trainer Alex Fine, attempted to FaceTime her during the evening, and Combs saw who was calling. When asked if this was in the middle of having intimate relations, Cassie says she doesn't know. She confirmed she later said she had a great times with Combs. She says she didn't tell her now husband she had been raped by Combs at the time, but that he punched a wall when she later told him. Cassie Ventura said that the last time she saw Sean Diddy Combs was at a memorial service for his ex, Kim Porter, in Georgia after she died unexpectedly in November of 2018. She texted him a few days later, noting that he had called Porter his soulmate and compared her to a woman he had apparently cheated on her with for a number of years named Gina. After the memorial service, Cassie Ventura said she didn't see him again. Now, in the home stretch, Cassie is almost done. The focus now shifts to a series of messages between Diddy and Cassie on March 22nd, 2019. In them, Combs is congratulating Cassie, who says she was pregnant at the time. Combs writes, "Congrats, you'll make a beautiful mother. God bless." In another message, he says, "Sending you love and light. What a difference a year makes. Really happy for you. Have a blessed day." He goes on to thank her for responding to his messages, saying, "It means more than you know. Please know I'm always here if you need me." In a longer message from Combs, he says, "I'm trying. Just had an operation. Hope this is the last one. I pray for the way we can sit down and I can let you know all the things I'm reflecting on. I thank God for the time we had together. You are the greatest woman in the world. Don't ever forget that." In her response, Cassie says, "I don't hate you. I never have." Combs then says, "One day, I hope you can forgive me. We went hard. We are lucky to be alive. You deserve the world. I'm glad you found someone to love and respect you." When asked to explain the message, Cassie says, "We partied a lot," and also confirms that at the time, she was still having addiction issues. Closing out, defense lawyer Anna Estevio finishes her line of questioning by reading out a message from Combs sent in September 2012. Referring to freak-offs, Combs writes, "Do you want to have our last FO tonight?" Cassie is then asked to read out loud her response. "I don't want to freak off for the last time. I want it to be the first time for the rest of our lives." And with that, the cross-examination is over. Before Cassie is allowed to leave for the day, the prosecution, Emily Johnson, begins her redirect. She goes on to ask Cassie about the messages Cassie had been shown in court with her and Combs showing love for each other. Cassie confirms Combs was indeed kind and loving, but when asked if that lasted, she said no. Elaborating further, Cassie says, when those periods didn't last, there was a downswing when he wasn't happy anymore. Cassie explains how she was impacted by Combs's moods, saying, "I was affected in various ways. It affected my career. If he wanted to have a freak off, my career would take a back seat. I had to get myself ready, the room ready, the entertainment, the escorts." Cassie says during their relationship, Combs would put her down, adding, "I was opened up to a world of chaos and his lifestyle, and I wanted approval. It was a whole other world I didn't know or understand at the time. It was a lot." Prosecutor Emily Johnson refers to an explicit text she sent to Combs and asks, "Throughout your entire time with him, who did you want to have sex with?" Cassie replies, "Just him." Prosecution continues in speaking about her career. Cassie admits it was affected by her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. Cassie says, "I put out music, but it wasn't the same. It was different because I had to give him all the attention because he was the person running everything." Now, it's at this point that Cassie breaks into tears, in which she was asked about the depraved sex acts. Prosecutor Emily Johnson asked Ventura about the defense's suggestion that she had cherished the highly choreographed sex sessions where she was allegedly forced to sleep with male escorts as Combs watched. When the prosecution asks how she felt getting beaten by Combs during these sex marathons, Cassie responded, "Worthless, like just dirt, like I didn't matter to him, like I was nothing, absolutely nothing." Cassie Ventura called her grueling 4 days on the stand this week extremely challenging, but also remarkably empowering and healing for me, in a statement released by her attorneys following her testimony. In quotes, she says, "I hope that my testimony has given strength and a voice to other survivors and can help others who have suffered to speak up and also heal from the abuse and fear. For me, the more I heal, the more I can remember, and the more I can remember, the more I will never forget. I want to thank my family and my advocates for their unwavering support, and I'm grateful for all the kindness and encouragement that I have received. I am glad to put this chapter of my life to rest. As I turn to focus on the conclusion of my pregnancy, I ask for privacy for me and for my growing family. Yeah, I have to say, this is a perfect example of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and she definitely has come out on top. This was not an easy thing for her to do this week. Keep in mind, Cassie had nothing to gain from this, and I do think in some way she was able to take back some control and power from the man who literally abused her on and off for 10 years. Hopefully now the tables will turn where Cassie will be able to live her full life while Diddy Combs gets put behind bars for the rest of his life. And I think that's where we're going here. Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, also releases a statement. It says, "Over the past 5 years, the world has gotten to witness the strength and bravery of my wife freeing herself of her past. I felt so many things sitting there. I felt tremendous pride and overwhelming love for Cass. I felt profound anger that she had been subjected to sitting in front of a person who tried to break her. So to him and all of those who helped him along the way, please know this: you did not. You did not break her spirit, nor her smile that lights up every room. You did not break the souls of a mother who gives the best hugs and plays the silliest games with our little girls. You did not break the woman who has made me a better man. Cassie saved Cassie. She alone broke free from abuse, coercion, violence, and threats. She did the work of fighting the demons that only a demon himself could have done to her." What a great statement. I'm not going to lie, I got a little choked up just now reading that out loud. Soon as Cassie had stepped down from the stand, the court began hearing evidence from Special Agent Yazan Binda, who has worked at the Homeland Security investigations for 5 years, where she is responsible for conducting criminal investigations into domestic incidents as well as crisis negotiations. Prosecutor Madison Smyser asked her about the search of Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City following Diddy's arrest last year. Yazan Binda says room 2115 of the luxury 5-star hotel was searched at 11:30 p.m. on September 16, 2024, after a warrant was obtained. She describes the process to the court, saying they cleared the hotel room to make sure no one was there, and then took a video and marked each room with a letter. She says if an item was found, they would call a photographer to take a picture before putting it into evidence bags. She says items were then brought into the office. The court is then shown the photos, which Binda confirms she recognizes, exhibits that included Ziploc bags filled with Johnson's baby oil and Astroglide, a hard drive, a lightning device she says she would describe as potentially mood lightning, 5 bottles of baby oil in the bathtub in the bathroom, a drawer with 2 bottles of lubricant, and bags of powder, which later tested positive for ketamine and MDMA, according to a letter read in court. In one of the exhibit pictures shows a black fanny pack that had about $9,000 in cash. Binda is asked, "Is that the standard to take money from someone?" Binda answers, "The warrant had cash in it, so he kept that." To clarify, she asks, "You took the $9,000 because it could be evidence of a crime?" Binda answers, "Yes." And that completes her evidence. Next up to give witness testimony is Don Richard, who is a former member of girl group Danity Kane and trio Dirty Money. Danity Kane is the girl group Combs put together on the MTV reality competition Making the Band, while Dirty Money was made up of Richard and singer Kalena Harper and Combs. Don Richards sued Combs last year, alleging he had groped and assaulted her and imprisoned her and threatened her life when she tried to intervene in Cassie's defense. She begins to tell the court of various times she says she's observed Combs attacking Cassie, including the time he hit her over the head with a skillet of eggs in 2009. She says on that occasion when Combs attempted to kick Cassie, she fell to the ground and went into fetal position, literally trying to hide her head. Dawn says Combs went on kicking and punching her before he put his arm around her neck and dragged her upstairs to the first floor. She goes on to say, then she heard glass breaking and she said she was scared for her. I was scared to do anything. I had never seen anything like that before, and I was scared for myself. He was punching his girlfriend. It gets worse, folks. She then goes on to say she was so shocked and scared that she didn't intervene or go to the police over what she saw, and the next day, Combs locked Richard and another person in the recording studio in his house and threatened them. He said, what we saw was passion and what lovers in passionate relationships do. He also said, Cassie was okay, and it would be in our best interests if we didn't say anything. Combs told them he was trying to take them to the top of the industry before menacingly saying, where he was from, people go missing if they talk. Then he gave them flowers, and she said she understood Combs was threatening death. I think Cassie was really just the preview here, setting the stage for what is about to come. Dawn's 30-minute testimony, just in itself, a little bit enough, gives us a window into the coercive nature of Sean Diddy Combs, which I do see this now getting a lot worse for Diddy as the time goes on. We're just getting started here. Homeland Security shows up and is submitting evidence into this case, which means that they have something to nail him on all these charges that are being brought forward to him. You know, when you think about what Sean Diddy Combs did to Cassie, you have to realize that she was 21, and for 10 years, on and off, she was with him. So she was not allowed to see any other person because we heard what would happen if she did attempt to see another man. I mean, think about this. For 10 years, she's with this abusive man, and this is all she knows. Of course, she's going to not get it right in the sense of not really knowing what to do or what's really normal, especially if you're in a state of fear that something's going to happen to the people that you love, like your family. You know, you stay because you hope and pray that it will get better, and you sort of make accommodations and say, well, you know, he has bipolar, and you have this excuse and that excuse as to why you just can't leave. And I think Cassie was in that space to where she loved him more than she loved herself and was willing to do just about anything for him. She probably would have taken a bullet for him. What's infuriating about this is that she really was in love with him. And from the looks of it, the way that he treated her as far as respecting her in that same manner, he couldn't reciprocate. So yeah, it did hurt her that she couldn't spend holidays to get to know his family because in Diddy's mind, he never really saw Cassie as a potential lifelong soulmate, like how he saw Kim Porter. I mean, it was clear by the way he was treating her as the so-called side piece. I think for Cassie, what she really wanted at the end of the day was to marry this guy and to have children and, you know, live this life with him. But in Diddy's eyes, he never looked at her in that way. He only saw her as this plaything, an object that he could do whatever he wanted. Does anybody believe that he did any of this stuff to Kim Porter? I don't think so. Maybe they might have had their arguments and he might have roughed her up a little bit, but not to the point where he's degrading the mother of his children. I don't think that went down, hence the reason why he sought out Cassie to use her in such a depraved way, which I find really disgusting, and I hope this guy goes away for the rest of his life. I am really glad that she made it through this week because I can't imagine the amount of stress she must have been under, having to sit up there for hours on the stand and, you know, have to relive this trauma. I mean, not a pleasant thing to do at this moment in her pregnancy, but she did it, which, you know, I applaud her for that. What Cassie was talking about this week is very dark and very heavy. Yeah, like I said yesterday in my video, I am not going to be able to cover this case every single day in the manner that I did this week because it is mentally taxing. I will keep track of it, and if I do think that it's worth putting together a video and sharing it with you guys, then I definitely will do that. Anyhow, leave your thoughts below. If you haven't seen, I dropped another video about Harry and Meghan and their antics this week, so be sure to check that out, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.